It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Hey, good morning and welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this Tuesday morning, back in studio, a little tired, not recovered yet from the last 10 days or so, but did get home about 9 o'clock last night. A little later than I wanted, but the train got delayed behind a stupid slow freight train forever. We crawled along at about 20 miles an hour, it seemed. And then it was rain. Oh my goodness, was it raining? Oy vey. I got soaked getting to the car, loading up the chair. Hot air Tom helped get my luggage in under the portico, thank goodness. But I got just soaked, so I had to drive home just soaking wet. So, who knows? I'll probably end up with a pneumonia again. But anyway, got home about 9 o'clock, and it rained, hard rain. I'm talking about going across I-64. The truckers were doing like 40, maybe 45. That's how hard it rained. So it was a little bit on a slow trip home. But, I got here safe and sound. So it's going to take me a while to get caught up because last night I couldn't do anything. I've been a little off this morning. My mind's not real sharp. I got everything done for the show, and then I didn't set the show. So, until like 5 minutes ago. So I didn't have a chance to promote it. So I'm giving, a little bit. I see Mike found me. So Mike's with us at least. Give people a few minutes to catch up and get in. So bring you up about, first of all, let me introduce what I'm doing here. This is Tuesday's Travel and Cruise Industry News Podcast. On this, the first day of October. Man, we killed the month of September. Wow. Brought to you by Will U.S., the owner of Scoot Around and Chillie's Cruises. The lead story this morning, folks, and I got a bunch of news stories. A Longshoremen strike begins. That, of course, is the lead story, and that's also could affect some cruising, too. V Odyssey finally sails. More Alaska cancellations. Carnival Paradise sailed yesterday. Another outbreak on Radiance of the Seas. Disney Wish cancels call due to civil unrest. Star of the Seas floated out. Carnival profits soar. A women-only cruise. The Haines Tariff. And lots more here at 11 o'clock this morning. So, if you're listening via the podcast, I hope I haven't screwed you up too badly this week. We had some shows canceled like yesterday. There was just no way I could do a show. And once they even got on the train, it wasn't set up, the particular car I was on wasn't set up so I could do anything right. So anyway, yesterday got canceled at the last minute. I tried to get a few notifications out on that. So anyway, and that's happened several times in traveling. And I've tried to make the shows up, but still, sometimes things come up. I have something this week as well, only time-wise, it's okay. I got to go for an MRI Thursday, but it's not till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's not going to affect the show at all. But, some of my medical stuff seems to always conflict with the show. Anyway, hope I haven't screwed you guys up on the podcast network. But if, you can always access the podcast via my blog, which is accessadventure.net, or wherever you get your podcast from. All the big guys, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Podchaser, any of them. Just search for Travel and Cruise Industry News, and up pops the fat guy. So All right. So, we had a Hot Air Tom and I had a wonderful time in New York. We did one or two things every day. I got to do things that I've never had a chance to do since I've been in the chair. It was great. I had fun. We laughed. We may have had some adult beverages. Even Hot Air Tom is drinking, and Hot Air Tom's not a drinker. So we had a really, really good time. We were traveling a day before yesterday from Boston to New York. The first thing that happens is like 3:30 in the morning, we get a notification that our train's canceled. That was obviously due to the weather south of us. So Hot Air Tom fiddled around and got us rebooked. Actually on an earlier start train that gets in later. But so that's what we ended up on. Only we were going to be in a sleeper car, not I don't know, whatever. What do you call them? Sleeper cars? I mean, it's like a little apartment thing. We're not going to be sleeping during the day, but still, I mean, that's what the reason for the car is. But anyway, we were going to try that out because we've got a couple of those booked on some of our future train travel. But anyway, so that got changed. So we were just in the business class, which is where I park the chair. And it was unfortunately where I'm going backwards, which I don't like, but still, that's okay. I could have turned the chair around and had my nose into the wall. So I was at least looking at Hot Air Tom and this lovely lady from Norfolk that was his seat, sat in the seat next to him. Ends up, she went to school in Radford. She wanted to go to the University of Kentucky, and her parents couldn't afford it. And she says she saw on my business card that I went to Kentucky. And then she ended up going to Radford, and her roommate in college was from Forest, where I live now. So she says, my goodness, I got several things here where I should be following you. I said, okay, you can follow away. But anyway, she was a lovely lady. That was, interesting, somebody to talk to. The train got in late, and it was, that was yesterday on the train to Richmond. I'm getting it all confused now. We got into New York. That was fine. That was the high-speed train. And it's high speed too. They need better tracks, but it was okay. We get into New York, and a friend of Tom's came over and for dinner, and we just went to I stayed in the room. They went and picked up stuff and brought it back to the room, which was great. And I had a cheeseburger that it was delicious. So much so that I got time to go back and get another one yesterday afternoon, or Sunday afternoon, even though we were going on a dinner cruise. The whole lead up to this is the dinner cruise. So on Sunday it was raining during the day, so we didn't get to do what we wanted to do, which was to go down to Ground Zero. And we tried to get on the subway, but the station that was right next to the hotel, we got in the elevator. It only took us down to mezzanine, had to get out of that elevator and go to another elevator to get to the tracks, and that elevator didn't work. So it meant to come back up to get over, to the street level. And it was pouring down rain, and Hot Air Tom and I both says, no, we're not going to get out in the rain to go find another subway station. It could be just as bad as this one was, and it was filthy, dirty, and stunk. It was just nasty. So we decided just to go up to the room and get some work done relax for the afternoon, which is exactly what we did. So, we talked to the concierge. Actually, Tom talked to the concierge about getting an accessible taxi rather than us, since it was rainy. We at first thought we'd walk. It's a little bit further than it was from the train station to the hotel, but it was doable. And so we decided, no, with the rain and all, let's just bite the bullet and get an accessible taxi. So the concierge arranged for one to pick us up at 4:00. We were down, we double checked with him at 3:45. Oh yeah, it's on order to be here at 4:00. We were downstairs at 4:00. We were still there at 4:05, at 4:10, at 4:15. At 4:15, he gets a text from the driver, says, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Thankfully, we had plenty of time. He gets there and he says, I can't take a wheelchair. I said, we ordered a wheelchair accessible taxi. And he says, I'm a wheelchair accessible taxi, but the ramp doesn't work. I said, well, what the hell did you take the deal for? I don't know. So we went back to the concierge, call up another cab, had to wait another 10 minutes or so. But he came, and this one at least was good. Got us to the cruise ship, or not the dinner cruise. So we checked in, and the first thing they tell us is, oh, you can't take that electric wheelchair on the boat. And I said, what do you mean I can't? It says it's a wheelchair accessible. Oh, yeah, but we have to take you on the boat in our chair. I said, you're not taking me on the boat and leaving my $5,000 chair sitting here on the dock. Oh, no. We'll bring that on the boat too, and you can use it on the boat. That's not what you just said. Yeah, well, that's okay. That's what we do. Okay, so I said, why do I have to get in another chair? Then I saw the rampage up. It's like a slope like this. Two up twice. So they get a regular wheelchair, okay? And it's a wheelchair designed for a 110-pound person. They squished my body into the chair, and 4 of them, or 5 of them, I can't remember how many it was, started pushing to get me upstairs. Now that's kind of what it looked like. They start pushing me up, okay? And here's what it looked like exactly. That's coming down. Wait a minute. That's later. Sorry.
Your peeps will love this. He's a cruise YouTuber.
Notice the lady that's pushing the whole thing. We get to the top and there's a 4-inch lip to drop off. Now, that was the adventure getting on, okay? So, and they did bring my chair up, and I was able to get on and actually get on the boat. That's my waiter. And I was in a nice table out of the way. We had a nice dinner, and it was just like the one in Boston. Little entertainment. A DJ, people danced, and it was nice. Plus, we sailed around New York Harbor, the East River, Hudson River, out by the statue. It was great photography options, even though Hot Air Tom and I were filming through a window, so you got reflection of light, and it wasn't the best because I wasn't about to go outside again. So anyway, it comes time to get off the boat. Now, they know that with my fat butt, gravity on the slopes at like this going down, and had been raining, so it was the slopes were wet and slippery, that they had to do something to keep me from breaking loose, running over them, and flying off into the night. So they brought out a block and tackle that they use to pull up a 2-ton ramp. Okay, I'm talking about heavy duty stuff. So I'm going to start this, and at the first of it, folks, notice that they're kind of standing around and then going back and forth, and they're trying to figure out how to do it. It doesn't build a whole lot of confidence in me, I'll tell you. This is getting off the boat.
So we got Chillie connected to a block and tackle cable, basically, that they have him in their transport wheelchair, and one of the guys will slowly let out the rope on the block and tackle as the others are holding him back. Slowly go down this ramp. You can see the slope of that thing. It's scary just to walk on.
guys park?
We need a cab. We need to find a accessible cab.
Okay.
The number the driver gave us is no good, so it could be interesting.
Uber Lyft, I think, has a setting.
I've never seen it, but I can check
I was
that.
told that Uber didn't have any accessible cabs.
They do it. They have a setting. You go to that guy.
And I have to be perfectly honest, folks. I was scared to death. You know, oh my God. Some things that you'd have to do when you're in a wheelchair. All right, I'll be back with some news after a quick break from one of our fine network sponsors. Nearly 50,000 members of the International Longshoremen Association are on strike against the nation's East and Gulf Coast ports, according to the union, choking off the flow of many of nation's imports and exports in what could become America's most disruptive work stoppage in decades. The strike, which began at 12:01 a.m. this morning, is impacting all major ports along the East Coast and Gulf Coast. More than 45,000 workers from Texas to Maine are rallying for better pay and job security. There appears to be a wide gap between the union's demands and the offer of the United States Maritime Alliance, which uses the acronym USMX. The Maritime Alliance represents the major shipping lines, all of which are foreign-owned, as well as terminal operators and port authorities. The strike will stop the flow of a wide variety of goods over the docks of almost all cargo ports from Maine to Texas. This includes everything from bananas to European beer, wine and liquor, furniture, clothing, household goods, European autos, as well as the parts needed to keep U.S. factories operating and American workers in those plants on the job. It could also stop U.S. exports now flowing through these ports, hurting sales for American companies. Some of the luggage handlers at cruise ports are longshoremen. V Odyssey has finally set sail from the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, ready to begin its much anticipated voyage after a lengthy string of repairs and delays that kept the ship from getting underway. Passengers did, in fact, board the ship yesterday and left late in the evening last night, about 11:30 p.m., but they didn't actually get far. For Monday evening, the ship is only moving into Belfast Lock to anchor, but will resume, or rather begin, her voyage on the morning of Tuesday, October 1st. That was this morning. It is now officially underway. Thank goodness. High winds in the region have made it too challenging for cruise ships to dock in two top Alaskan ports of call. This happened over the past couple of days as the 2024 Alaska sailing season winds down. The loss of the last few ship visits will be a blow to the small but popular tourist communities of Sitka and Skagway. But safety is always the first consideration for the cruise lines. At times, poor weather does necessitate port cancellations. In Sitka, Silver Wind canceled yesterday. Nordam and Ovation canceled for today. In Skagway, Ovation canceled yesterday, and Koningsdam erased its visit today. One Royal Caribbean ship canceled all port of calls but one 4-hour visit to Juneau on a recent 7-day sailing. 6 days at sea. Carnival Paradise sailed yesterday to get back on her planned schedule. Paradise was forced to remain at sea because of Helene, which caused the following cruise to be canceled. She will now be back on schedule. All right, this is the Scoot Around Fall Sale, including Scoot Around scooters and Will Power Chairs. Save big on rentals in all kinds of popular locations. Celebrate the start of fall. We've got discounts in some of our most popular rental locations across the U.S. Take advantage of these limited time promotions on scooter and wheelchair rentals. From Orlando, 15% off until October 31st. From Las Vegas, 15% off until October 31st. From Phoenix, 10% off until October 31st. And from Los Angeles and Anaheim, 10% off until October 31st. Just call Scoot Around toll free 888-441-7575 or reserve online. Use SRN 11137. That's Scoot Around and Will Power Chairs. Disney Cruise Line has canceled an upcoming visit to Noumea, New Caledonia for the Disney Wonder due to ongoing regional civil unrest. The cruise ship, which is currently on its South Pacific voyage, was scheduled to stop in Noumea on October 15th, but that day will now be an extra day at sea. The decision to skip Noumea comes in response to heightened tensions and civil unrest in New Caledonia. Riots first erupted in May of 2024, triggered by a controversial voting law commemorating France's colonial rule over the territory. The U.S. Department of State has issued a Level 3 travel advisory for the region, urging travelers to reconsider visits due to the ongoing unrest and criminal activity. Passengers on the final 2024 Alaska cruise for Royal Caribbean's Radiance of the Seas did not have the cruise they may have hoped for when a gastrointestinal illness outbreak made its way through the vessel. A total of 167 passengers reported symptoms. This was the second outbreak on Radiance this year. Meyer Turku has floated out the next largest cruise ship in the world, Star of the Seas. It's been at its construction dock at the shipyard in Turku, Finland. This major milestone, marked by a traditional ceremony, saw the vessel transferred to the outfitting pier with the assistance of tugboats. The ship will remain there for final construction stages until her scheduled delivery in 2025. Following days of delays caused by strong winds at the construction site, the weather finally cleared, allowing the massive vessel to be transferred from the construction pool to its new position. The undocking marks a significant step in the ship's construction journey, followed by its official launch ceremony, which took place earlier. Carnival Corporation announced solid results for the third quarter of 2024, with profits soaring 60% compared to last year. The company reported $1.7 billion in net income, driven by solid demand. Revenues hit a record high of $7.9 billion, marking a $1 billion increase over quarter three in 2023. Congratulations to Carnival. Uniworld Boutique River Cruises is set to debut its first women-only voyage in 2025, navigating through southern France renowned Burgundy and Provence regions. The 8-day itinerary, scheduled for SS Catherine, departure on August 25th, will take guests along the Rhone and Saône rivers, offering immersive experiences in the local culture and culinary traditions. Activities include truffle hunting, wine tastings, and exploring picturesque villages that once inspired artists like Van Gogh and Cézanne. Ashore, guests can also enjoy bike rides, lavender weaving, and unique events such as burlesque sessions. Curated by a team of women, the cruise operates an exclusive experience with pricing starting around $5,000 per person. The 7-day voyage begins in Arles and ends in Lyon, with additional details on special guests, theme parties, and brand partnerships to be announced. The Haines Borough Assembly introduced its first ever cruise passenger fee to support the town's tourism infrastructure. The Assembly unanimously approved the new revenue tariff, which will take effect in 2025. The fee is set to start at $9 per passenger, rising to $12 per passenger in 2027 and $13 per passenger in 2029. Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Sea is currently at the Grand Bahama Shipyard to undergo repairs. With its current cruise canceled last week due to technical issues, the 2023 built vessel arrived at the facility in Freeport earlier this week. The Icon of the Seas is now expected to return to Port Miami ahead of its upcoming sailing, which is scheduled for next Saturday, as the 5,600 guest ship is set to depart Florida for a 7-night cruise to the Eastern Caribbean. When's the last time you were in Vigo, Spain? Vigo is Iberian Spain's westernmost city, right on the Atlantic, with lush mountain landscapes all around. The city is a seafood fan's dream, where oysters hardly travel more than a mile to your plate. You might want to visit Castro Fortress while you're there, or maybe take a trip out to Cias Islands with its gorgeous beaches. But the main thing is to enjoy some seafood. And you can do this on the post-dry dock transatlantic cruise for the NCL Bliss. It sails from Southampton on February the 2nd. It also stops in Ponta Delgado and Baharve and Lisbon, and arrives in Miami on February the 5th. 13 nights on the NCL Bliss, Southampton to Miami. Cabin start at $11.43 per person, including taxes and port charges. Join us for a great time. All you have to do is email me at chillie@chilliefalls.com or give me a call. All right. That wraps up the news portion of today's show. Let's go see if anybody who's in the chat room fussing at me today, or if I've done anything like have no sound. Like I said, Mike's with us. There's Gretchen. Roger's with us. I'm in Jacksonville. Successful root canal surgery yesterday. Ooh, I hate that, Roger. There's Hot Air Tom. Finally got the icon to click. Sorry, are you still asleep that the icon didn't work? I don't know. Mike says, hopefully just tiredness from traveling. Yeah, it's that. It was, I don't want to say it negatively. It was an exhausting 10 days. Remember, I'm coming from just crawling out of bed from double pneumonia. And so I didn't have a lot of strength. And I tell you what, we made the most out of every damn day. And guys, I can't tell you how enjoyable that whole experience was with Hot Air Tom. Oh my goodness. It was just terrific. So Bob's with us. Good morning, gang, he says. PK's here. Hey, PK Adventure Travels. Says hi to everybody. Mike said V Odyssey had to return to port because of unsigned paperwork. You're kidding. After they sailed, they had to come back. Oh, man. Something tells me those people just don't know what they're doing. 15 days until flight to Oklahoma to visit the daughter. 21 days until Majestic Princess to Mexico. Go for it, Raj. That's awesome. That's awesome, my friend. There's Kenneth. Good morning, everybody. Kenneth says. Emily says, hello. Hope all are well. Good morning, Emily. Hot Air says, oh, brother, I saw on Cruise News today that the ship left port but was anchored offshore. Well, that was actually, they got on the ship last night, 11:30 it sailed, but just like around the corner. So they were sitting offshore. I did not have that they had to come back for unsigned paperwork. I thought it was ready to go this morning. So now I'm going to have to update that one tomorrow. It was a nasty rainy weekend. Sorry, guys. Well, you can control the rain, Emily. Believe me, if we could blame you, we would have. But no, not with the weather patterns we've had this past week. We were lucky to have as good weather as we had. And yeah, it stunk in New York. It was awful. Oh, the cruise wasn't bad. I mean, once I got on the boat, it was a nice evening dinner cruise. So, despite the ramps, wow. I'm not sure I've gotten over that yet. Emily says, hey there, PK, how are you? We're doing well. Made it through with no damage and no power losses, just a few flickers out from the storm. That's good to know. Hot Air says, I walked up that ramp after Chillie was up. It was hard to walk it holding on the two handrails. I wouldn't have wanted to walk it. That was never an option for me to try to walk the ramp down. There was an option for me to try to walk down a flight of stairs. If I had a couple of those guys with me, I might have gotten down a flight of stairs and I'd have to sit and get my breath back and then do another lap to get off the ship, and hopefully my chair would have been there that I could have gotten into. That was the option, or the block and tackle was the other option. So I didn't have any real good options to getting off of that damn boat, I'll tell you that. So yeah, we had some challenges with what we did. There were several. One time on one ramp that came up from one of the boats we were on, the ramp was at a decent slope, but not like the one in New York. It was at a decent slope, but there was a 4 or 5, maybe a little more than that, say a foot and a half ramp up to the ramp, okay? And it was real steep, okay? So I kind of gunned the chair, and it was so steep when I came over the top, my feet went up. So my feet were up like eye level, the chair going back, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm going to go back and hit my head. But I got training wheels on the back of this thing that hit and threw it back forward. They're not called training wheels. That's there for that reason. And they worked. So, but that one, I was a little shaky from that one too. But yeah, it was a challenge being in the chair with some of the things we did. But all of them said they were wheelchair accessible. I would, especially the New York ship, I would definitely dispute that. Matter of fact, I'm going to in my blog post. I don't know if I'll get it finished today, but yeah, I'm definitely going to call them out on accessibility. And it's sad because I liked the people were great. The dinner was lovely. It was a nice deal, but man, it's pretty tough for people in a wheelchair. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Mike says tiredness giving you brain fog. Yeah, it's no doubt about that. Oh my God, I bet that was an ordeal to get you off at that steep angle. Yes, it was. It really was. They actually did a 98-pound lady before me. Yeah, 98 pounds. And then me at 400. I don't weigh 400, but with the chair, it's 400. Me and the chair is right at 400. So I can't believe those guys did that without losing control of me. I mean, it's coming down. It was one thing going up, but they had to struggle going up. And what I got a kick out of was the lady at the back was pushing the hell out of those guys that were, holding the chair. I mean, that was an experience. It was an experience, folks. Emily says, good to know, PK. Thank goodness you guys are okay. I heard it was a hurricane, a Category 4 hurricane. Yeah, of course it was, Emily. It's like Emily just found out there was a Category 4 hurricane. I kept gaining strength until it hit land, the Big Bend area. We were just sideswiped here in Tampa. Thankfully, it didn't make any kind of turn going up the coast. So, I mean, it was bad enough for Tampa, but still, it could have been a whole lot worse. So, I was thankful for that and all my friends down in Tampa. So, one of the guys helping Chillie down at the boat was the captain, a very young captain. He had to be in his 20s, I think. It may be 30, early 30s. But he was the captain, and the second mate was the other guy, the two at the back in the white shirts. Which, when I realized I was the captain, I was really impressed that he wasn't giving other people to do the dirty work. He was in there doing the dirty work. So, that was pretty cool. Good morning, all. Hit the like button. Thank you, Jimmy. Always appreciated. Emily says, welcome, Jimmy. It's very sweet of the captain to help out. It wasn't sweet. I think they knew that they had to get a big fat guy off the boat or they was going to get sued. So he was saving the company some money. It was testy. Very testy. There's Todd. Good morning, Todd. Emily says good morning also. Hot Air says, did Chillie say the Bliss cruise arrives in Miami February the 5th? I think I heard February. Chillie needs to re-record that sound. What did I say? It's the 15th. Oh, did I say the 5th on that? Yeah, you're right, Hot Air. Oh, it says that on the sheet right in front of their faces, so hopefully they'll realize that I screwed it up. Thank you, Tom. I'll go back and fix that. I didn't realize that I had it said it wrong. Again, sorry about New York City. Still stinky. Yeah, man, I tell you what, Emily, that one subway station, that should be condemned. And I think what was happening in the one elevator we rode down to the mezzanine, I think somebody was living in that. I mean, it smelled awful, just awful. And we got in it, the off button was on, so it wouldn't go anywhere. So Tom figured that out. So he, put it on to run, and how we got downstairs. But then, wasn't any sense in us going downstairs. So Hot Air says we can blame you for not getting the bad dudes off the street for us. There you go, Emily. You're supposed to get the bad dudes off the street. Oh yeah, I didn't even tell you about that one. One guy wished Chillie would be run over by a bus. Yep. When we were asked somebody in the group to move as Chillie could not use the curb. They were blocking the ramp. They have a little ramp about this. You can't see that, but about this wide. Okay. At every intersection. So you got a little ramp for the wheelchair to go down off the curb and cross the street, and then a ramp to come back up on the curb the other side. They had it totally blocked. I said, excuse me, about three or four times. And finally I got rather sharp with excuse me. And it was actually a girl that's the one that said that. She turned around and said, I'll get out of your way, but I hope you get run over by a bus. Something typical. So I didn't say anything. I kept on going. Hot Air Tom would have said something. And Hot Air Tom could get us in trouble when he gets mouthy. So I'm kidding. Cut out. Yeah, that's what they are. One option to get off the boat would be Willie E. Coyote using his Acme Spring. Yeah, right. Oh, goodness. Kenneth says, Chillie and Tom, did you guys have a video on the whales coming up? Maybe it would be awesome to see. Yeah, I just got to do some editing because when you're trying to film whales, you don't see them until sometimes you've missed them, or sometimes you're sitting there, seeing water and nothing until they come up. So I got a lot of editing to do to get some whale, but we saw, we had some whales that we played with, so that was great. It was well worth it. Emily says, if the weather was better, I definitely would have met you guys. I will see you guys in March. I'll call you this week, Chillie, give you some time to unwind a bit. Okay. Well, I'm here and unwinding. So I got a lot of catching up to do. I bet between Tom and I got 1,000 photographs to get pretty much. I've got the majority of them sorted already. So, and in the right folders and stuff on my computer. Everything, with the exception of the last day, everything is from my phone onto the computer. That's the first step. And sorted and by excursion. So I can get to them easily. And then one big folder for Boston. So, yeah. Hot Air Tom says, yes, Kenneth, we have several. Did I miss the video on the show? No, the only video I did today, Kenneth, was me going up and down the ramps to get on the dinner cruise. Emily says, I didn't know it was Category 4. It was Category 1 when it started. Very sad to see the damages. Oh, you missed about 18 hours in there, Emily, that it went from Category 1 to a strong Category 4. At one time, looked like it might make Category 5, but didn't. So, yeah. And I had that that was on the shows that I was doing in there. I did look at the weather this morning. There's a system down in the Caribbean that could affect us again if it continues to develop. There's a tropical storm out in the middle, Kyle, I think it is, and another system developing beyond that. Wasn't anything pressing. So I said, I'll wait till tomorrow. Emily says, if I'm not mistaken, I have to look and see, but I think New York City has had or has plans to redo it. It was a while ago. When I heard that, I'll find out. Okay, that's great. Other than that, I didn't have any problems on the streets in New York, which I expected. It was much better than New Orleans. New Orleans streets are just in terrible repair in places. But I was lucky enough. There were a couple construction places we had to go around, but I never had to turn around and double back, which I had to do. I had to do in Charleston. I had to do in Port Canaveral. I had to do in New Orleans at times that I've been running around. So for where we went, which was primarily from the train station to the Intercontinental Hotel, and then back to the train station, was where I rolled in New York. It wasn't bad. Now, there's a tendency of a slope from the building toward the street so that I'm kind of cockeyed. Those are a little unsettling. It's not where the sidewalk is level. It actually has a slight slope, which is for rain runoff. I mean, I know why it's done, but it's just unsettling when you're in a chair. I much prefer if it's a little more level. So I try to pick out the levelest part. Obviously, cobblestones and bricks are not the easiest thing to do. I mean, they're bumpy, but it can be done. So, you just put up with it. Cracks in the sidewalk, same way. But I mean, my chair will easily go over like railroad tracks and stuff when they're recessed. That kind of bumps, no problem. There's probably some curbs, shorter curbs, that I could go up and down in the chair if I had to. I don't want to because, again, it would be unsettling. But my chair would do that. It wouldn't go up a full-size curb. You'd still have to have the cutout. Tom and Chillie, we are walking to the Epic in March, or are we taking transportation to get to the cruise ship? Tom and I talked about walking. I don't know. It's probably going to depend on weather, although, Lyft is not inexpensive, but it wasn't a great deal more to use Lyft, which was a nice vehicle, well kept, well maintained, where the cabs suck. Yellow cabs, they're all, worn out. But yeah, Lyft to the port wouldn't be that bad. It cost us from where we were on the dinner cruise back to the hotel. Hot Air Tom paid for that one. I think it was like $30 or something, maybe plus a tip. So, I mean, that's for me in the chair. I mean, that was for an accessible lift. So I don't know. We'll decide on that one, Kenneth. Chillie is getting up to 7,000. Way to go, Chillie. Yeah, I'm getting there slowly but surely. All right, guys. Well, we went over 100 today. Thank you for all you guys at X. Boy, I wish there was some way that you guys could jump into the chat room. And unfortunately, I can see it when you leave comments, but everybody in the chat room can't. So I wish StreamYard would get that fixed. So, all right, guys. That's going to wrap it up for today. I've got a lot of work to do today. I also probably need to take a nap. So I'm not sure how much I'll actually get done today, but we'll see. All right, guys, that's going to wrap me up for the day. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, think about cruising, and hopefully one day soon we'll all get together on the high seas. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget, thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, take this as my invitation to do so. Doesn't cost you anything. That helps us out a bunch. All right, guys, have a great day. See everybody back here tomorrow.
I regularly post videos on all facets of the travel and cruise industry. So if you like to keep up with the latest in cruise ships, ports of call, cruises themselves, Chillie chats, and travel and cruise industry news, just hit the little subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. Hit the bell notification so you'll be notified when a new video is up or we go live. This video was produced by Chillie's Cruises.